that's just some time. So imagine I'm just happy with what she's just able to do. Me, I'm just happy. And the fact that she can call me mom, she makes her siblings happy. Sometimes you go calling somebody in the bed, in the house, and she tells you, hayuko? Unamuliza ako wapi? Kwa gate. Akikwambia kwa gate. Unajua, the person is not within the compound, you know. And I'm happy. At least she's saying something, you know. Hey, I'm blessed.
Yeah?
I'm blessed.
Wow.
I'm really blessed.
Right.
Yeah. And so that's my firstborn. I can count blessings.
Yes.
Yeah. You see, every one of them is unique.
Yes.
And so she's also very unique, and I'm happy.
Oh my goodness me. This is amazing. This is amazing. So I think, and that's one of the reasons I really felt I wanted you to come on today, so that we can talk about, you know, these realities. Living the child with disability is not a walk in the park.
It is not.
It's not a walk. 16-year-old can hardly write her name.
Yeah, she's supposed to her age mate, actually, because like we have chamas with some ladies.
Yes.
And there are some, we gave birth around the same time. Her age mates are in Form 3. And they are doing so much. But guess what? I've said to choose what she's able to do and drum it. You know, you drum whatever she's able to do. When others are complaining about Gia anavuta bangi, anakunywa pombe, akukuja jana usiku, me, I'm not counting that. So I've decided to look at the good part. And it is true, because such mothers, you can hear them saying, oh, sijui wameanza kuvuta bangi, sijui wamefanya nini. Now see, with my Samantha, she eats what I feed her. And I'm grateful to God.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. Yes, indeed. If you're a parent and you have a child with a disability, you have a child who is challenged, and you're like Jane, you know, your child, you only count, you have to count the positive side, what your son or daughter is able to do.
Amen.
If they can open their eyes and give a smile, that is good enough. And you can start from there, building from that. Otherwise, it can be depressing. Let's talk about the psychology, what the impact on the parent, you know, and of course, I know there are many conversations, there are spiritual side of things, you know. You remember the story, is it in Mark chapter 9, or is it in Luke chapter 9, or is it in John chapter 9? I think it's John chapter 9, about this man who was born blind. And there was this very huge conversation because, you know, the parents were wrestling with it. Was this who sinned that this person was born blind? So even the Jewish community themselves, they had a certain view of disability. If somebody had blindness, born blind, for example, the Jews also were wrestling with it, you know. And Jesus is here, and they somehow. And that question, is that question still valid today for parents who are dealing with a child with disability?
First of all, allow me to say that this issue of disability falls within something we call abnormal psychology.
Okay.
That is in the School of Psychology, yeah?
Okay.
And this is where most of those disorders are actually classified.
Okay.
And let me say that when you look at the abnormal psychology, it was not easy handling people that were, especially we talk about mentally disabled. You know, physically disabled, it is something physical, and people sometimes are able to deal with it and overcome it. Because this person, you can see, like we already have special vehicles for people with physical disability, and we have hearing aids, we have cane to guide the blinds. But now when it comes to special disabilities like autism, Down syndrome, and probably even cerebral palsy, that becomes very, very a bit complicated, because we're also talking of different spectrums. And so it has actually not been very easy. And I'm not even saying that it's easy for me. I'm not laughing because it is easy for me, just because I've dealt with it and I have decided what I cannot be able to change, I would rather make peace with it.
Okay.
However, being a parent of a disabled person, and more so mentally disabled, first of all, my child has been called mad. ni mama wa wazimu. And all those things. It is actually not easy. First of all, because every person who conceives, and especially when it is a planned conception, you have expectations. And you see, when you have this expectation, when you're this pregnant lady, you're busy saying, oh, mom, oh, sijui dad, and you're saying my son or my daughter, depending on what you expect. And you can see the greatness of that child. And then when that day comes, and then you see what you have probably given birth,
Yes.
it can be trauma. Because you have this very high expectation.
Right.
Other people are talking of their children like now. Very soon, I'll be hearing, my daughter is in USIU, my daughter, I don't know, is in where. But this one, we are not sure. But then, my joy is that whether we go back to the Bible and think about that story that you are trying to bring out, never mind, I could be the one who sinned. It could be my husband who sinned. But whoever sinned, that is why Jesus died.
Yes.
That is the beauty. To know that even if any one of us sinned, at least there is God, the grace of God has brought salvation to us.
Yes.
And again, could it also be that it is for the glory of the name of the Lord?
Yes.
And I don't know why. For me, this is for me. I always feel like my situation is just meant for the glory of God. Why am I saying this?
Yes.
Because at times I feel like I want to call the whole world to come and see my daughter. I happen to be worshiping in Sitam, and I thank God for Sitam Boroboro, because they really love my daughter. We've been taken so well, and actually I think I'm very popular in the church. I don't know whether for good reason or bad reason, but they always know Samantha.
Yes.
First of all, she's a very beautiful girl. And then I have also decided I really want to dress her up. Yani, you have to see her,
Yes.
And why do I do that? Because, as I said earlier, you dress what you have. You drum what. Now, if she can't even write her name, then let her be beautiful. And the beauty is that she loves modeling.
Yes.
And I happen also to have been a model.
Right.
Yeah. So she loved modeling. So let me start preparing her. If she can be able to shine in modeling, so be it.
Yes.
And so I feel like I would want to call the whole world, because I feel like it is meant for the glory. Because this particular person in the Bible, we see Jesus Christ healing the man. So I want, by the time God changes the situation of my Samantha, that the whole world will have known, so that they can help me testify to the world that Jesus can turn around such kind of situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Amazing indeed. And I think that's really a very you're special. let's put it that way. You've wrestled with that issue, and I like your heart. I mean, even you are a pleasant person. You are you like you say, you like people telling you things straight. Don't give me
don't beat about the bush.
Don't beat about the bush. Don't give me some well-crafted student report for my daughter and lie to me. That.
Just to make me happy. Actually, that's what I tell my teachers. I tell them, this is not your doing.
Yes.
This is God's doing.
Yes.
Not that even whoever will say it is devil's doing, at least all I know is that God allowed it.
Okay.
Because if I look at the situation of Job, never mind, he went all the way down.
Yes.
It is the devil who brought the problem, but the Bible tells me God allowed it. Yes. And when you go to Job 42, we see God paying him, double by double. And you see, like even this morning when I was in prayer, I was telling God I look forward to restoration of Samantha. And the beauty is I'm calling for divine restoration,
yes,
and divine preservation. She'll be restored. And the Bible tells me all that which was eaten by cankerworms. I am telling you, oh my God, she'll be paid.
Yes.
Yes. And so I don't know, but I see this time coming when my daughter will be fully restored. You know, she's 16. I was hoping that, you know, I kept telling myself by 11, you know, anybody with a challenged person, sometimes you sleep and you expect something will happen.
Yeah, in the middle of the night.
Yeah, when you look at the man who stayed at the beautiful, I mean, no, at the well for 28 years.
Yes.
He kept hoping every single day that at least, you never know, this time around the water will be disturbed and there will be no one else to jump inside apart from me. So I'm looking forward to this one day when there will be no one else jumping into the well apart from my Samantha. And Jesus' glory will actually be seen. And the whole world will get to know that we have a good God who does things. And then now that you also asked about psychology, you know, if you don't accept the situations, it drains you.
Yes.
It drains you.
Yes.
And you see, like now, for me, what I've done, and that's why I would really love to tell people, you'd rather integrate your child. If, for example, I am a disabled person, as in maybe Kiguru or whatever, if I don't care when I'm walking, you people will have to respect my ways.
Yes.
But if I'm hiding, kuna vile. So for me, I've not hidden Samantha. I brought her to the public.
Yes.
Then you deal with the issue.
Yes.
And you know what I've done, even in the church, I have passed over even the responsibility to the whole church.
Yeah.
So sometimes, like the other day, I went to assist somebody. I left the church and I went to assist another young man who had a mother of a disabled person. I went to take the child to the Sunday school. And then, for some reason, Samantha followed. But I didn't see her following. But the whole church became alarmed. I'm telling you, even the watchmen at the gate, they know. When they see Samantha, they have to ask her, where is mom? So you see, the whole church they are helping me to bring her up because I didn't hide her.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So when you don't hide, you share the problem. And you know, the shared problem is no longer just your problem.
Yes.
And so it becomes light on you. So it will be so heavy on you. Kwa sababu ni wewe tu. Ni wewe tu. Then I told God, if you don't take care, neither will I.
Absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. Yeah, that's really true. The problem of the temptation to hide these children, put them behind, you know, closed doors, is very high, you know. But at what point, you know, in your journey, in the journey, at what point did you feel, I think now, that point you made the decision between, you know, holding back and coming to the public? At what point did you like make that move?
In fact, there is no one time I never decided to do that because I never hid her, not even for a day.
Okay.
So for me, I have never thought twice.
Okay.
I have taken my child to the public. I remember one time when she was 8 months and she couldn't even sit.
Yes.
I remember I went for, I think it was a birthday party somewhere.
Yes.
And I remember there was a couple that had a cerebral palsy child who happened to have died 2 weeks prior to the third time we met. And when they looked at my child, because she used to make some funny noise, you know, and then even the sitting position at 8 years, she was just, you know, bending, you know, she couldn't really put her whatever straight. They prophesied that my child is a cerebral palsy. They didn't tell me there and then, but they told this lady, because you see, we had gone out to visit, so we were just common friend to this person. So this person called me the following, it was on a Saturday, she called me on a Tuesday, and she started beating about the bush, you know this, can we meet? So we met for lunch. So when we met for lunch, we were seated, and she's telling me, you know, so now about Samantha, so what do you give her? So, you know, she started like counseling me, like I'm not feeding her well. And, you know, as I told you, I'm a very brand person. So me, I don't like being taken round. Tell me, like, kitu nataka kuniambia, wacha kushinda huko. You know, I told her exactly what are you saying. Because she started talking about the feeding. Oh, so you, a child in 8 months should be doing this. And I'm like, excuse me, my friend. You know what? I'm a mother of 4. I already have the 3. This is the 4th born. What are you talking about? Tell me straight. So she told me, oh, there's this couple, and they had this CP child who died just 2 weeks prior to the day you came to my house, and they said that this must be cerebral palsy, and they say, so this and that. Hey, okay. I was like, well, Okay, that's what they said, but as far as I'm concerned, my child is okay. It's just a delayed milestone. At you shouldn't be in denials. What? I was like, what is denial here? I said it is delayed milestone. She didn't have to be like any other. And it happens that she had given birth around the same time when I gave birth to Samantha. So she was actually comparing her son with my daughter. Who at this point, actually, her son was doing very well because already, I think he was even standing. Nana move na vitu. Wamgwata kuketi. Wamgwata kuketi ni shida. She told me I'm in denial. Maybe I'm not giving sujui fruit. I was like, just stop it. So what do you have to say about the others? Then it happened that this very friend actually visited my office. They called me. I gave them an appointment in my office. So they came and they told me, yeah, we realized that your daughter is a CP case and blah, 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 blah. And you know what? Actually, you know, we lost our daughter and we have this seat, which is usually very expensive. And actually, we can even give it to you. I was like, wow. Let me tell you 2 things. First of all, my daughter is not CP. Secondly, your daughter has died, and I think she died at 16 or around there. My daughter was about 8 months, 1 year, going 1 year. My daughter is only 1 year. Your daughter has died at this particular age. You're talking of a seat that she was using. As far as I'm concerned, around this time, there's a child with CP that could be suffering without a seat. I would request you to donate that seat so that the person can be using, because in the meantime, even if I was to take the seat, I would just put it in the store, awaiting this condition to one day come to be. So my daughter doesn't have CP. And even if it is CP, please look at me and look at me well. You say this seat is expensive, I'll afford it. When that time comes.
That's Jane Gitau for you. Absolutely amazing. You know what? It's time to take a short break. And this is a very amazing conversation, Jane. And I like the way you know, just bringing it out. Because some of the parents or some of you, you feel like the roof should come over your head and cover you because of the kind of trouble you've gone through. We're going to be revisiting the issue of how now spouses treat each other now that you have a child with disability. So is it the parents, the husband side, or is it the mother side? And what happened, you know, who brought this a bad situation to the family, and maybe if that also may affect the actual marriage relationship. We'll come back to that. So for now, let's take a short break. This is the Monday Morning Digest. I believe you're learning, and please, if you have any questions, please ask. If wherever you're watching from, tell us where you're watching from, and let's talk about hidden and silent, the parenting children with disability. Take a break. We'll come back to this conversation.
The church is back at Uhuru Park. The chairman of the Standing Strong Ministers Conference, Apostle Othniel Mwabili, and the conference convener, Apostle David Juma, together with the Executive Planning Committee, invites all church leaders, student leaders, marketplace and corporate leaders to the 2024 Kenya edition of the Standing Strong Ministers Conference, taking place from Tuesday 1st to Friday 4th of October 2024 at Uhuru Park Gardens, Nairobi, with leadership sessions running from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily, and open sessions from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. daily. The theme for this year's conference is Strengthening Your Brethren, drawn from Luke 22 verse 32. Ministering will be guest ministers Bishop Thomas Muthe from Kenya.
The best place for Jesus to work is when there is nothing left.
Bishop Stanley Mwalili from Kenya.
At the end of the day, the yardstick will be how much Christ-like are we?
Pastor T. Mwangi from Kenya.
No matter how God will lift you, you will never lose the posture of faith. You'll still be a man of faith.
Apostle Yemi Adefarasin from Nigeria.
You have to stand in faith and trust God for everything. If you believe it, shout hallelujah.
Pastor David Marshbach from the Netherlands.
We can go to God and we can say, you have promised it in your word. Let's touch Jesus in faith today.
And the hosts, Apostle David Juma and Pastor Asunta Juma.
They will not just see you, they will see your God. May your heart be prepared to learn to stand among leaders.
Now, something new is happening. A new kind of preachers are coming forth. They are apostolic in nature.
And other local and international ministers. Find registration forms on our social media platforms. For more information, kindly call 0722 669651. The 2024 Kenya edition of the Standing Strong Ministers Conference. Don't miss out on this great opportunity of strengthening for your ministry work ahead. See you there. This national conference is organized by various churches and is open to the whole body of Christ.
All right, welcome back. This is the Monday Morning Digest. We're talking about hidden and, the way parents hide, hidden and silent, how to parent a child with a disability or children with a disability. And before we went to the break, we were talking about how, to deal with the challenge, the trauma, what people around you, the stories they tell you, and how everyone copes with your situation, especially when you choose to come out and bring your child to the public space, take your child to church, make them part of the community, and let the neighbors, deal with your child with disabilities. Everything changes, and you get a lot of advice here and there, apart from, of course, the school issue. So let's go back, Jane, to the conversation, because I think there is, the minute you come out, the minute you bring out your child, the minute now your child is out here in the public space, they're going to school or you're taking them to school. Now, the expectation, the challenge of expectation, and which, like we had said earlier, that can also actually affect the relationship, marriage relationship. No, it's your people. It's your husband's people. That's where they have those kind of problems. Or it's the wife's people. That's where they have those kind of problems. And so these issues can really create confusion and bring a challenge, actually, to the marriage, and how you as a mother or as a parent, you deal with the child with the disability. So let's talk about the managing expectations.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, when one is expecting, rather pregnant, you have this expectation that I'll get this kind of a child. If it is a firstborn, like if you come from the community that I come from, this is my father or my mother or whoever it is. And when the child is already out and maybe they have this disability, now they come a denial. Previously, when the baby was being expected, it was mamangu, babangu. But when now the child is out and with disability, you don't want to be associated with that. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, the expectation is not just with the couple. It runs all the way down. For example, if it's a firstborn, you can imagine, you've just done this big wedding. And so even your in-laws, especially the in-laws, like I went for a wedding the other day, just last weekend, but one. And I had actually the family. They paid for them this honeymoon in some lodges for 3 nights.
Right.
And there was a clear warning.
Yes.
Mukuje na nani. Mukuje na Gigi. So, so you go there, and of course things will happen.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And for sure you may or may not.
Yes.
And let's say even you may come with that GG. Then it happens that after 9 months, the GG who comes out,
yes,
and migu, or maybe have this kind of disability.
Yes.
And so basically this expectation is, you know, everybody is expecting something. And so what happens is that when the expectation is not exactly what you had in mind, it becomes very disappointing.
Yes.
And this disappointment, it is for everybody. And of course, this is where you start now shifting blame. You start saying, ni kwenyu, hata kwetu, if I look at my lineage, there is no one. Now my husband says, if I look at my lineage, akuna. You know, so where did this come from?
Right.
And actually, there's this person who had a son with autism. And you know, when it comes to autism, it affects boys more than girls. I think because of the issue activities of the boys. And she told me that she was told by the in-laws that she got this challenged child because she was not circumcised.
Oh my goodness.
But now what is very interesting is that this particular son is actually a twin. Is a twin with a sister now. And that is actually the fourth born now. So you wonder if she was, when she was circumcised, when she was giving birth to the two who are older. Now this is the time the circumcision, lack of circumcision is affecting the fourth born. You know? So people basically, they'll tell you anything and everything. So if you're not very confident with yourself, if you're not sure of who you are, if you don't know that you're fearfully and wonderfully made, it can be a problem. Right. Because now you start attaching this problem to many other things. And I can tell you for free, my husband told me, he didn't shift the blame, but he told me to me exchange you mtoto. And I asked him, who came to give birth to a challenged child? You know, who came to give birth to a child? Nobody, isn't it? And so, me, I knew there was something to contend with. But on a serious note, people may see me laughing, but it's because I have made peace. So people have expectation. So basically, when they are not met, people are frustrated, they are disappointed, and they'll say anything and everything. And they start looking at you differently. And people, unfortunately, because of that trauma, you know, they even become fearful of getting another child. If it is a firstborn, they don't want to get secondborn. Least even the situation become worse. Something tells you it will be worse. Some women have actually been left in the hospital by their husbands. Yes, they don't come for you. Because surely, wanakuja kuchukua, nini wanakuja kuchukua. Nini wanakuja kuchukua.
Wow.
Well, I thank God I was never left in the hospital. I was taken, but me, I also carried my baby.
Right.
And this is my baby. I have actually ran with her, you know. And I have not given my husband a choice. Because I'm saying my husband because on a very serious note at first, you know, we must accept as women, when you're carrying this pregnancy 9 months, as much as your husband is carrying it with you, it's only it's just by side. But literally, you're the one carrying it. You're the one to go through this experience. Like I did CS, you know, it was my fourth born. The others was normal. I don't know why this time around, it just happened like that. So there's that attachment that may be with me than with the father. So for me, I have not given the siblings a choice. I have not given my neighbors a choice to like or hate my child. It's not, she's not their child, she's my child.
Yes.
So I have not given anyone a choice. Yes, I have not given teachers a choice either.
Yes.
I have paid school fees.
Yes.
Just do what you are supposed to do.
Yes.
Don't give her special treatment, but please don't mistreat her either.
Yes.
You see, just tell me what you can be able to do. If you cannot be able to do this, if there is a way I can bring a house girl, but there's a time I had offered, and I should run a house girl. Then I was told no. Like where she is right now, she's in a very nice public school, by the way.
Yes.
There, okay, not school really, it's an institution.
All right.
Yeah, she's in Madare Special. Let me come out open. It's a very good institute. So what they do, the other girls, because these disabilities, they vary, by the way. And those kids, Miss Jai wana watu wa poa kama wao. Those kids are just great. If you go to that school, pastor, you will love it. So what happens is that Samantha is mentally challenged. Somebody else is physically challenged. So they are very sober upstairs.
Yes.
Watampeleka kwa choo. And now what is very interesting, that has come out open. They even help her change the pad.
Right.
Oh yes, they do.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they'll help her change her pad. I'm telling you, hey, where favor now. So basically, people are disappointed. But you as the parents, and more so the mother, if you don't give the community a choice, they'll come with you. If you appraise your old car, hata mtu akikuja na Prado, wewe bara yako inapeleka watu kule inaenda. And so I tell people, just the same way like, you see, Peugeot had a problem with the door.
Yes.
Nissans, for example, they have been having a problem with the heating engine.
Yes.
So if my car has a problem with the heating engine, you can't blame me. I'm not the manufacturer.
Yes.
It is the Nissan.
Yes.
We blame them, isn't it?
Yes.
So what is him na nini? So Mungu ndiye anajua kule zinatoka, mimi sijui. So we blame the manufacturer. It is God. And I keep telling God, even when this girl is healed.
Yes.
Because kwanza she really praises God. She never praises me. She praises God. And so it is the work of God, even to make her better, so that she can keep praising him. And then again, the mothers with the disabled children. You shouldn't be worried saying that you have the world. Kwani tumeona watu wangapi, mtu anazaliwa akiwa poa. And then when they are dying, even at their old age, hawana miguu, hawana mikono. So where do you think, if that can happen for a normal person, where do you think your awkward child cannot end up being good? Things can get better.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. So so let's now talk about you know, the advice you give to parents when it comes to like being a little bit more organized. Say you have a child with, say, for example, CP, cerebral palsy, or any other condition. The kind of the way you should now, for example, engage with the public in general, and in general, do you think that while, and we had alluded to this, while people with visible disability, you know, hearing impaired, visually impaired, and all that, we know there has been a lot of intervention, but these sort of special children with you know, with say like CP, for example, mentally challenged, do you think enough has been done to include them, you know, in society, and where are the major gaps, and what do you think can be done?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of inclusivity that should happen, because unlike, like we say, the blind, the hearing challenge, and physically disabled, they have all these associations that have been supporting them.
Yes.
But you know, mentally disabled, we have so many spectrums that sometimes, I don't know, and it is very unfortunate that the people that have tried to come up with these NGOs and such, some of them have really taken advantage of these situations, you know. So you realize that the government really need to do quite a bit when it comes to integration schools. Because you see, like, these schools are usually very far, you know, like many places where people stay, and especially like even in the rurals, they don't have such schools that are integrated. And even if they are, you find one, maybe like two in a county, you know?
Yeah.
And that becomes very, very tough, because sometimes even ferrying these children is not easy.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't know why, Pastor, it happens that these kids also happen to be born in, I don't know, for some reason, in poor families. And so you realize that when the schools have been taken very far, and you know these kids cannot walk themselves to school, neither can they walk themselves back, it becomes so hard, you know. And then it happens that these very nice schools, they are also very expensive.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I think quite a bit need to be done, and the government need to come with a way that where they can be able actually to include these children. Like, you know, when I think about the future of the children, interestingly, managing them when they are young, it may be easy, because you can take them to schools. And like I said, like now mine is in an institution right now, where she can even be until 30 years and such. But then now after that, what happens? You see? Because they come to the public, they're not able to reason with the people a lot and all that. So what happens to these children? And maybe the government has set apart this 30% for the challenged. But then you realize that these kids who are mentally disabled, they cannot do any negotiation for themselves. However, I actually tried querying, and I was told that you can register a business with them. as long as they become the majority shareholder. So I think I would really want to encourage parents with such kind of children that actually you can register this program, this whatever, you can register business, and especially mothers with girls. Because you see, we have youth fund, and then we have, I don't know how well it is working right now. We have the youth fund and we have women fund. So when, for example, you register a company with your child and they become the majority shareholder, maybe you can be contending for them. You know, you can be putting across the issues for them and trying to, you know, to look for business for them, because surely they cannot go out there, you know. And maybe from there that the proceeds can be used maybe to support this kind of a child. Otherwise, chances are this person will forever be dependent.
Yes, yes.
They'll forever be dependent. And maybe, like, I would say nothing much really has been done, because you see, like, when you talk about even that APDK, like, personally, I can say for sure I was very, very disappointed, because I remember I registered my child in 2009, and it happened that after I kept calling 3 years, you go back, you're told, oh, we are trying to clear a backlog of 20 what. I got bored. And I told myself, Jane, after all, I just call myself rich. Because when you're you're not mentally disabled, you're rich. You can reason, you know. So I told myself, Jane, what are you doing? You're not disabled. Leave that place. And sincerely, since 2009, I've never gone back to APDK, because I told myself, you can look for funds, you can educate your child, and you can keep going. And on a serious note, I have been going. And I really thank God for that.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful. That's an amazing story of you know, you have worked through. And I think we go back to the whole idea of you have to tell yourself a story. You have to really, like, wrestle with your own, you know, your own world, and create a new way of looking at life that is empowering. Because it's one thing to get into programs that empower mothers and parents with the you know, children with the disabilities and all that, but it's another thing for you to be personally empowered, you know, to kind of wrestle yourself out of your own view of yourself as this poor, miserable parent who now society must come and you know, take care of. It is actually possible for a child with disability to kind of create disability among the parents. You know, the parents become like they are the ones actually who are disabled. Instead of them seeing, no, it is not me who is disabled, it's my child. And those are two separate things. So I still can pull myself and get on with life and build capacity for you. So, but let's talk about the siblings. You know, your other daughters. How are they managing? And so how do they have they reacted? I'm sure there's a way, you know, you live with them. So tell us about their reaction, their place. How do they support their sister and stuff like that?
Yes, so like all of us have been very, very supportive to this girl. The siblings are very much aware. They have never been ashamed of their sister. Like, of course, we would go to school to visit them when they were in boarding with her. Of course, there will be a few episodes here and there. But I think just like me, I have really cultivated positive energy in my house.
Right.
So my children happen to be very, very positive. So there is no big deal. We go to a place, Samantha will do something here and there, and they're like, "What ikonini?" You know? You're able to get away with it.
Yes.
So for me, I've always told myself, I've always reminded myself, this is what I'll tell to all the caregivers. Keep remembering, you're not sick. Ugonjwa iko hapa, wewe uko sawa. Wewe uko sawa.
Yes.
You know, so that you gain the energy, so that to lift this person. Because for some reason, Pastor, these children, they are usually very hefty. And especially like parents who have decided to lock in their children. These kids can be like giant. And let me say that it's not because of the disability that they become giant, By the way, that is a stereotype, you know, that people just have, that these kids are usually very, very big. But it is not the truth. The truth is they have less activities. Because like if you see my Samantha, as I told you, she's even pursuing modeling in her own way, in her own small way. And I'm encouraging it.
Yes.
This is because we do a lot of activities. Like where she has to walk, she must walk.
Okay.
Yeah, I ensure that she walks. I don't drive her to school. So where she has to walk, I make sure she walks. And then I also take care of her feeding. If she feeds, she must exercise. You know, so you push her to exercise. And then like the house girl, I've actually just hired a house girl for her. I've told the rest of the siblings, you can do things for yourself.
Right.
This house girl purposely comes here for this girl. And so what the siblings, they really love her. They have no choice. And as I told you, I have not given anyone a choice, not even the teachers. So I have embraced my child. And let me tell you, if you value that diary of yours, there is a way even your staff, when they see it, they'll say, he doesn't like it, anapendanga ikiwa hivi. So even your child. So I would say that make sure you treat your child well. Train them, and especially when it comes to hygiene. Especially for girls. Mothers, you have no choice. Because like now, as I'm saying, these kids, because of their eating habits, I don't know whether it is mine, but they start their menses very early. Like mine, I think, started at, is it 9 or 11? Around there. And so you can see all along we've come. And so I have trained her even to know what pad is. You know, I have told her, you don't hug men, so I don't hug men myself. No. In front of her, even if I have to do something, I have to say hello. So she says, you don't hug men. Why? Because now she's like a big girl. So you don't know what these people, when she hug them, what they will do. You know? So I have decided to tell her, this is what you do. And then when you're training your child, wachana na maanko. If I came here, I would not tell Nani, your uncle Sijui who. No. You are Pastor Gigi.
Yes.
You are Kamau. You are Joroge. You are Patrick. This is Mike. Teach your child to call people by name. Leave alone this manko. Even if it's your own brother. Don't say uncle to this child. Because if you talk about uncle, if anything happens to her, ataongea mambo ya uncle. So utajua ni uncle mgani. So call of Uncle Peter, you know, call of uncle whoever, call them by names. Because these children need to differentiate people. So that in case of danger, they are able to know. Because almost always, these kids have been raped, they have been defiled. And they say, kikulacho kinguoni mwako. They're never defiled by total strangers. Most of the time, the teachers, or the uncles, or the cousins. And so, these are the people who are likely to defile them. So when they know them, they are able to know where the danger can come from. Yeah, because sometimes you may not be able to sit them down to explain to them exactly this is what happens, this is what happens. So that is what you do. Just try to train them and don't give anybody a choice whether they'll treat your child well or bad. No ways. Treat this child like a normal child. I'm not expecting a lot of special things. Like my daughter, you don't have to do a lot of things. And this is why I tell parents, don't lock your child. Because most of the things that children do, even walking, children don't walk because time to walk has come. They walk because they are seeing other people walking. They start holding things because they can see you holding a cup. They copy, you know. So when you lock your child in the bedroom, what are they seeing? What are they saying?
They are disconnected from the world.
Precisely. So don't be cheated that your child is at 30 years or they are 15 or 16. They can't do anything. And you think by saying they cannot do anything, you are saying anything important. That is not good because one of these fine days, you're a human being and you may be dead. So when you're dead, you know, you have contributed to the disability of your own child because my child, yes, is not actually disabled. She's only differently abled. Because Samantha can do quite a lot. She can do quite a lot. She can even, by then now, she can make tea. I'm trying to train her to make tea. She know about fire and everything. So I have really tried to enable her. Enable as much as you can. Because like now I've had parents, like one day, the other day I took her to the salon. You know, and when I took her to the salon, it happened that there was a lady who was being made her hair. And she said, how come your child can do this? She's even telling you, I don't know, she can even almost tell you a short story. She told me she has a sister who is now 29 years. She can do nothing, you know, and because her mother has told her, oh, you know, she's disabled, she cannot do this and she cannot do that. So the sisters even don't like her. And she was saying that if the mother died, this sister would be such a problem. They don't even know who would take care of her. My child, you just need to help her a few things here and there. You can even tell her, don't go there, she'll not go. She know when the danger is coming. So me, I would encourage people, don't lock your child. Hautakufa na yeye.
Yes.
Where, come on, if everything held constant,
yes,
I'll die before Samantha. If I'll die because of the age, I'll die before Samantha. So the question is, who will take care of her? Because I don't want to hold her siblings alive at, at lump sum so that they can take care of their sister. No. I want them to carry on with their life. Samantha has her life, and so I would like to train her. Maybe as I mentioned to you when we are off air, maybe sometimes if the situation does not change, I believe the situation will change. But even if, let me just say like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, even if the situation will never change, I pray to God to give her at least 2 children. Yes, I'll help her take care of them. Why? Because when I'm gone, I've made peace with death as well. Yeah? When I am gone, I know only her own children can take good care of her. Why am I saying this? I've seen my own grandmother, who is right now experiencing Alzheimer conditions, and I've seen my mom and the sisters and the brothers. They have hired a woman for her, they have hedged up the home because she can just go and disappear. And those things happen to the old people.
Yes.
So if my shosho was normal at one point, but now here she is with with all these conditions, insomnia, amnesia, So if that can happen, then even my daughter, her condition is not so bad. So if she has 2 children, whom I'll actually, God willing, if situation does not change, I'll take care of them so that one day, it's even how she can be a mother. And what actually prompted me to this whole idea is because one day I was brought a person to counsel who this girl happened to be experiencing Down syndrome. She suffered Down syndrome. She's 29, she was 29 years then. It's about 4 or 5 years ago. So the sister brought this girl and told me that I want you to counsel my sister. My sister has this condition and she's all over with men, blah, blah, blah. He told me so many things. And we are considering actually taking her to a gynecologist, afungwe asiwaiza. And so she told me so many stories. When she told me all these stories, I was like, okay, enough. Let the girl come. So the girl comes. Down syndrome, they're never very badly off. So she said hello, and they're usually very jovial. But you're not stressed. I tell you. So she comes in. Of course, I was patient with her because she's not very coherent and, the way she talks. But she talked very well. And then I just gave her free fall to talk. We call it free association. So she talked, and she told me, one day, I was raped. She can even talk a bit of English. I was raped by our shamba boy, and my blood stopped. So she doesn't understand that, and then I was pregnant. But now you know what? One day, my sisters, this one who brought me here, and the others, they took me somewhere, and then I saw a lot of blood, and
anyway. We are running out of time.
So, basically, she was aborted in short. But then she asked me, why didn't they give me a chance to be Mama Nani? How come them they are called Mama Nani and they are happy? I also want to be Mama Nani. So I want to tell the public that these children, they are normal. It's only the men, just like a physically disabled one, whose mind is always right. Ni mguu tu iko na shida. Let me alert the public. These children are also normal when it comes to other feelings. So don't feel like your child is abnormal when they start experiencing and expressing other feelings. They are very, very normal. So let us respect them, let us manage them, and let us help them to know how to manage their feelings.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I have let you just bring that out here, and I believe those of you that are following this conversation, and even those who will watch after this, that yes, indeed, we are laying the ground, we're challenging, think, and don't just take whatever you hear in society. You have to take responsibility and do everything you can to support that person, to parent that child of yours with disability, and you are the best champion. You are the person that can actually help them navigate through life. But you also have to own your own story, and you also have to actually appreciate that these human beings are absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Their capacity, is beyond what you think. So don't just take the stereotypes. And Jane, you have really helped us and given us very, very good, wonderful personal stories. So look at that camera and just, parting shot, and then we are done for today.
Yes, I would want to tell the public, please keep appreciating these people. If you can appreciate cats and dogs and keep them to whatever, to give you company, you can imagine what kind of company these children can be. Because at least they can talk to you, they can do a few things here and there. So please look at them differently. They are great people. If only you help them on what they can be able to do, just try to establish what their stronghold, their strength is, and drum it up. And I can tell you for sure, these kids can do amazing job, not just for the family, but even society in general. So God bless you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Jane. And that's all we had for you today. This is the Monday Morning Digest. I'll be your host, Godfrey Gichuki. We look forward to seeing you next Monday, same time. Keep it elevate, and may the Lord bless you, and may He enrich you, and have a great week. God bless you. Bye for now.
Thank you.